Okay, well, time for Plan B, I guess. Welcome everyone to PSGL F4 on PlayStation. Let me just double check if we're all good to go and live. I'll give you a heads up. I was not meant to be streaming, also it does seem like we have a black screen on the stream. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen. I do not know what's going on. It does work. Let me quickly check my audio and then we're fully ready to go. Okay, it should be all good. I'll give a little bit of context towards you guys as well. My name is Simon. I will be your PSGL F4 commentator for today. I was not meant to be racing, streaming. I was meant to be the co-coms for this week, but seemingly the time zones has messed up my commentator quite a bit. That much that he has gone AWOL, and I have zero clue at the moment where he is, and what his plans are, if it's actually planning on showing up, etc. We're at Austria this week, and we have got a wet qualifying, and I'll just quickly get into the group of things of Daniel hops into P15. I need to edit my own game audio. Let me see if that's good on stream. Okay, yeah, we should be fully good to go now. So let's get into the groove and let's get ready. Whilst Fleddy sets that fastest lap of the session, he is currently on top with a 12.325. Then behind it, you got NLR Ruti Gullit with a 0.4. And the two guys behind him also have a 0.4, which is Francesco and Slash. Behind that, you got Marco Grisny and Provatox in the exact same time. But Marcel will be looking to beat that lap quite shortly because he will be starting a new lap right now. You got Diogo Silva and Rodas, the two Williams guys in P8 and P9. Daniel rounds out the top 10 for now, but I'm sure these times will change and fluctuate a lot more. It has been raining this full duration of the session. El Tomato does go up into P5 right there. And Slash, meanwhile, goes to pole with an 11.944. He was very quick in front. His teammate Sabi does not have that big of an improvement. Let's see what Daniel can do. Coming towards the line, he will move up to P11 with a 0.7. We got Fleddy. It's easy because we only got one Aston Martin this weekend, so it makes it a bit easier for me on that front, not having to look all that much. If I'm silent for a bit, it will be because I'm either sorting out my commentator into the party with me, or that I'm just drinking some water or something else. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't... Oh, we do have two Aston Martins. Marcel Grisny is the other one. He will be rounding out his lap right now as well, going all the way up to P2, beating his teammate QRT Fleddy and putting himself on that front row currently. See that Ferrari has spun. That is Nico, unfortunately, coming out of the Sector 2 section. Two very quick left-handers. Really want to keep as much momentum through there. And unfortunately, he has spun it there. Sabi heading into the pit lane. Hopefully, he does not block the Alfa Tauri that is coming along there, which is Daniel. My right joystick is broken, by the way, so yeah, that sucks. Daniel going towards the line. Let's see if he can make an improvement there. Goes up to P4, a 12.4.114 for Daniel. Then we got the other Haas starting his lap. And then we got Fleddy coming towards the end of a lap again. 2.5 tenths quicker, but he does invalidate, unfortunately, for him there. Ruti Gullit, the NLR Finnish driver. He is very quick. He has shown his potential. And he is definitely one contender for the title here. Will he improve up to P1? No, he goes only to P3. I mean, I say only, but that's still an absolutely amazing lap. 12.202 for Ruti Gullit. Let's open the chat so I can see if you guys are saying some stuff as well in the Twitch, or not Twitch, in the YouTube chat. You see a Ferrari coming towards the line. That's either Nico or Asi, but there's no improvement. Meanwhile, we do be seeing McLaren coming towards the line. That is Slinky. Can he improve? He has been looking quick, but unfortunately, he was not on a hot lap there. It seemed like he was on a hot lap, and he backed out there in Sector 3. Up next, we see not Diogo Silva, it was Nico coming all the way up to P7. Also got an AlphaTauri coming towards the line. That was Daniel going up to P3 with a 12.171. The track is definitely getting quicker and quicker, and the drivers are gaining more confidence around this very short track. It is raining, and we only got a 1 minute 11 lap. Let's see, we got McLaren coming towards the line. That is not Slinky, it's Francesco. Francesco coming towards the line to start a lap, actually. So let's see what he could do there. Both the NLR drivers in the Alfa Romeo were very quick in France, which was the first time I commentated on this day. So let's see what they could do. Let's actually go on board for a lap with the Finnish GOAT, as he said himself. Go on board with Ruti Gullit right here. Coming in towards Sector 1, you really want to cut the inside of Turn 1 as much as possible. At least you used to. Now the curb tends to throw you off a little bit. Doesn't use the full duration of the track on the left hand side, Ruti Gullit, but he does slightly improve into Sector 1, which would already get him 2 places. Now coming in towards the Sector 2 section, where all your time is either gained or lost. There's a small lock up there. You want to keep as much momentum through the following 2 corners. You really want to just turn in, hope the grip sticks there. Coming in there, hitting the apex and early on the acceleration, as early as possible. He's sliding to a bit, not full confidence for Ruti Gullit there. 2 tenths quicker already though, keeping momentum through there as well. And now he's coming into Sector 3, and this is really only where you can break your lap. You can't really gain a lot through here, but you can really screw it up like Ruti Gullit does. Going wide there, and he hops into the pit lane. Like I said, you can either make or break your lap into that 3rd sector. And Ruti Gullit definitely broke it. No, Jano or Islam Puki is not in it. Sabi is indeed Hungarian. He is a driver for NLR. But this is a different division, whilst the Hungarian of Sabi spun. So you might have cursed him a little bit there. No, they did one drive. I believe it's on Wednesday, PSGL F1 drives. For the PC side. This is the PlayStation tier, and if you want to watch the PlayStation tiers, they are always hosted on the Mondays, and PSGL F1 on PlayStation will be held in an hour's time, and that's where you can see all the new talents who will eventually end up battling against Jarno and Isvan Puki, etc. Isvan Puki, of course, being the talented driver from Barnell there. But let's see what is happening currently on track. Let's go on board with Rodas. He's 5 tenths improving, which would put him around Ruti Gullit's time. If he has a good Sector 3, it can definitely be a very good lap time, but the Sector 3 was a bit poor and he only goes up to P9. Meanwhile, we are gonna wait for the other Williams of Diogo Silva to cross the line, but he is not on a hot lap currently. We only have 3 more minutes to go in this session, so let's see who is making the improvements where. But everyone is really just lining up for the lap, not really going for it. But the beauty of intermediate weather conditions is that you can do multiple hot laps, one after each other. ADT Daniel going all the way up to P8 there with a 0.372 currently. That's a good lap for him, but I think you're seeing a lot of drivers line up on the hot lap there. Sabi going off again in neutral, of course wanting to gain that ERS back as quickly as possible. I don't know why he's going in first. Maybe to reset the thing, actually. That would be smart. They're all a big gain there from Provatox, going all the way up into P2, waiting for some Haas drivers to cross the line. That is Slash, actually. Slash goes all the way up to P1, just slightly improving though, 11.8, but he is sharpening his current pull time. Who can beat Slash his time? For now, it doesn't seem like anyone can really come close to it. We have a Mercedes coming towards the line. That is PTR Lolo Vera, the Spaniard who has recently joined PTR from QRT. He has got a lot of potential. He's a young kid and he's definitely one to watch out for the future. But let's see if he can do anything. We'll cut back to him when he finishes his lap. going on board now with Marcel Grisny. He is not improving, unfortunately, so this will be one of his final laps to really go for it, because we see an Alpine going really slowly, so he cannot see the lap time. How do you guys find talents like this? Curious, you know. So for the league itself, drivers sign up. Most Slinky me water. I'll answer your question, Shan, after qualifying, because yeah, it's going to be very busy, because everyone, of course, currently wants to set the best times, like Kart Race is doing right now, putting in P2, but then immediately gets beaten by MNT, aka Mentalism Nico. Gets an Alpha Tauri coming towards the line. That's Daniel also improving there. Good lap with a 0.7. We have a Mercedes, have to scroll really far down. That was Toxic Tomato going all the way up to P6. Let's hop on board with Lolo Vera. We have two Hans drivers. Would that be Slash? I think it was Slash, but he did not improve yet. But they still got 40 more seconds to go for it. PTR Lolo Vera going all the way up to P8. Really close to his teammate so far. Ruti Gallatin, meanwhile, coming towards the lap all the way up to P2. The two NLR boys are very quick today. Let's see who's next up towards a lap. I think it would be Diogo Silva. He is not improving. He's not on a hot lap because the McLaren of Francesco, because Slinky has already retired. Francesco not improving yet. He is lining up for the final run as well. ADT Daniele making some slight improvements. But besides that, no real big gains. Assi on the pad going up to, up. It's only P18, and Bad is really disappointing on this game. And Assi, I know he's trying all he can. Whilst his teammate Nico goes all the way up to P2. Very close behind VIR Daniel, who's on a lap now. Is it going to be a 0.5? No, he fully bottled it in the last sector. He is not improving, and he is going to hate himself for that. Toxic Tomato then coming across the line. P5 for him. Then we're waiting for Slash. Will Slash improve? I don't think he will. I don't think Slash is improving. He only improves by a slight bit, but he doesn't have enough to gain or jump a position. Ruti Gallatin going towards the line. He is improving 1.5 tenths. That is good enough for Paul. Will Ruti Gallatin go to Paul? No, he screws it up in the final sector. No, Ruti Gallatin on Paul. Who has got Paul then? Is it going to be QRT Fleddy? Yes, he does go to Paul. 0.6. Amazing lap time from him. Can his teammate maybe beat him from it? Marcel Grisny then. Coming towards the line? No, only P10. Francesco then, what can he do? Just looking at the minimap there, he goes all the way up to P10, and then we got the Ferrari still left of Assi, together with Kart Race. The Kart Racer does normally have some real good potential, and he is very quick. Can Kart Racer go to Paul? He goes to P2. And I think that concludes the end of qualifying, because indeed Julian goes into the pit lane, and that has been a very good qualifying, with maybe at the end the track drying up that little bit, which definitely helped some drivers improve at the end, but unfortunately a few drivers seemingly unable to really perform when it really mattered. Track evolution indeed comes to play there. How do you guys find talents like this? Sean asked. So this is PSGL. This is one of the biggest leagues, and that's why you're probably also watching. In PSGL, drivers can sign up, and either we will look at their previous league performances, or we will look at the list provided from either time trial times or Grand Prix race times provided by the drivers itself, and then we'll be comparing them and eventually put them into an order pace-wise, and that is what decides the grid. So that's why always the grids are fairly close to each other. Also, I do have to be realistic. I do find these gaps fairly big, especially at such a small track like Austria. But if you look at it from another perspective, the top 16 is within 6 tenths, and the top 12 is within 4 tenths. So that's why they do it very well. But leagues just they get people's drivers sign up towards the leagues, so that's how you find those talents. And you also got esports teams, because you see a lot of weird characters in front of their names, like QRT, MNT, NLR. They really look at how the drivers perform in the leagues itself, and then they can get a spot in the team, and then they can race in team events. For example, one of the best team events out there is currently from PSGL itself, which is called the E-Series, where you see drivers like Thomas Ronhaar and Williams Esports drive against community-based teams, which could be also teams that you see right here on the screen. Unfortunately for the drivers here, they are not in these teams currently, but it gives a good example for the community, which is really being able to grow. Whilst the race is actually rain as well, but it really shows that drivers are able to grow and teams are able to grow in this. So on your question, how do you find talents like this? You just look at the performances on how they do, and also on PlayStation side, you got some drivers absolutely dominating PlayStation, like you had Ismail Fassi, for example, a few seasons back. He was absolutely dominating in PSGL F1 on PlayStation, and he's now going to be, I think he's in PSGL F1 PlayStation, no PC already, which it just shows that the talent on the console, once they get a PC, it just really drags over. Quickly check if my co-commentator said anything. He has not, which is very interesting. But we got 5 more seconds before we get the lights out. So I'll take a quick sip of water and then we're ready to go. We got 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix, and away we go. And it seems to be a very good start for Kart Racer, because he immediately is looking up the inside of QT Fleddy. He has the better traction and he goes for the move there. Kart Racer going already all the way up to P1. Very good and quick start from him. Behind there, it seems to be all very clean. Not a lot of contacts, no big spinners, but here in turn 3, normally the chaos happens here. You can see the drivers trying to make a dive up the inside, which Nico does on the inside of Daniel. A little bit of a tap on Kart Racer, but they all survive. And Fleddy, the pole sitter, going from P1 all the way down to P4. So it's not been a good start from him. Daniel there defending from the Ferrari. Nico sending it up the inside, and that will be a good move there. Daniel hanging on around the outside. Can he hold on? No, he cannot. Nico there all the way making them gains up towards P2. Going there a slight bit wide. Can Daniel profit from it? No, it does not seem like it. Well, Sleeky and Daniel have collided with each other. They have gone off into turn number 5. Just before entering turn 6, probably hooked eyes onto each other and both went off. That's a very unfortunate way to already lose a lot of time and momentum, and hopefully not a wing play early on in the race. Master Christie there making a move on Diogo Silva, going up the inside after maintaining better momentum, going through that long middle sector with long corners where you really want to keep all that momentum. Going through there, L'Oliveira meanwhile looking to make up a move as well, but he seems to be unable to do so. Let's head back towards the front and see if we can see any moves there. But these will be 36 laps of constant attack and treads up into turn 3 and turn 4, because those are the only real overtaking spots here. And besides that, it's just whoever can make or take the best momentum through there. Well, Rudy Gallet has seemingly made a mistake. He's swerving with his steering wheel, and the gap already is 1.2 seconds towards the guys behind. An overtake there, attempt around the outside by Toxic Tomato, it fails, and Perry Provotox is able to go just profit from that and make the move up the inside from that. So Toxic Tomato attempting to make a move, and as a result of that, actually loses a position. TF Links, meanwhile, is really struggling. I wonder if he has damage, because he has just been dropping back so far for no real reason. I would assume he has damage, because Danielle and Slinky are already catching back up to him, but he is staying out, Links. Just no confidence seemingly in the rain, and his pace in qualifying was very far off already as well. So that's something to look out for, if he can maintain or recover that pace momentum that he had in other previous races. Meanwhile, up front we see Kart Racer just absolutely chilling, taking the lead and somewhat controlling it so far. Daniel meanwhile going for that move on Talent Factory Links. Meanwhile, Julian and Asi, I think they've had some contact, because Julian is indeed ghosting there, and it seems like he has lost a position or two. He has a weird leg spike going backwards there, and that's how he loses the position. Rodas looking up the inside of the Hungarian Sabi, but he seems to be unable to make a move as well, although Sabi has a big momentum, big moment at the exit there, and Rodas is able to go up the inside, but around the outside Sabi has more grip, able to brake later, but he outbrakes himself. And he goes wide there. The opportunity there lays for Rodas. Can he profit from it? No, he cannot. Sabi there holds on to that position, and he keeps that spot. Meanwhile, Asi has meanwhile dropped another position, I believe. And he goes into pit lane. Has he got damaged? I think so. Or will he already be retiring? No, Francesco's in the wall. Oh, and he takes plenty of drivers with him. That should be a safety car. And it is Diogo Silva, 5-second time for the severe collision with Peter Lolovera. But I think that was a chain reaction. Francesco there losing the grip at the exit there. And absolutely shattering his front wing and his tyre. And the car coming back on track and making contact with Diogo Silva and Lolovera. Lolovera does not have a wing end plate. Let's see if Diogo Silva is wing damage. No, it seems like his car is alright. But Peter Lolovera definitely has the wing damage there, which is very unfortunate for him. But we do have already a safety car. Lap 4 there. And yeah, of course, a very unfortunate result for the Juventus driver of Francesco. Probably had very high hopes for this race. And I do believe he was the lobby host. So it's not smart that he left. Oh no, Slinky is host. Ignore me. So yeah. Safety car already very early on. I doubt anyone will pit. Because of course, when it rains, you are not forced to make a single pit stop. Sometimes you do see drivers making that pit stop and really profiting from the fresh tyres. So it's always a situation. Do we zero stop it or do we make a one stop and really profit from the fresh tyres? Let's just go on board with Lolovera because he is heading into the pit lane to fix his front wing. And at least he will have 4 laps of fresher tyres compared to everyone else. But he will lose a lot of lap or like momentum. No, not momentum. Track positions, that's the word I was looking for. Slinky coming in as well. It seems like he had wing damage also. Let's see if Slinky is changing his wing. And he is also. It's going to be an exciting pit lane battle. Who comes out earliest? So will it be Lolovera? Will it be Slinky? And it will be Slinky. Better job done there by the McLaren pit crew. Of course, Lolovera also had to serve that 5-second penalty, which is good that he was able to save it there because Diogo Silva will have to serve it on his next stop, which somewhat forces Diogo Silva into a 0 stop. Having to check in because I am on the understanding that my co-commentator or actually the main commentator. Oh, there he is. Yo, sorry I'm not comms with you, but the internet, mate. All good, brother. Thanks for telling me. I'll handle it on my own. I'm into hotspot right now. I feel you, mate. I feel you. Yeah, no, that sucks. We thought that you messed up with time zones. So that you thought the race was in like half an hour. So like that's why I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should just stream or if you're coming, because eventually I just figured that you were gonna be an hour late, but that works as well. You see some other pairs, Diogo Silva indeed pitting there, and Link's going to the pit lane as well. Diogo Silva's just there, I think to serve those 5 seconds. And to take the freshest set. What will Lynx be doing? Lynx indeed did have wing damage, because that will explain the pace difference. As soon as it's back, I'll join it. Okay. If it's back, please tag me in on Discord. Just send me a DM. I'll keep my phone on muted. Hopefully I don't get spammed like crazy. Yeah, just tag me on Discord. Send me a DM, and then yeah, I'll get you in. And my phone is unfortunately already blowing up. Oh, my voice is starting to fit in already, boys. I can't lie. Currently, you do have the safety car situation. I would normally go over strategies and all of these other situations. There's not really all that much to go off of. Lolovera going for another pit stop. Has she crashed on the safety car, or has he just decided to go for another set? Are they dry? Those are hards. What? I'm sorry, but the safety car will be in this lap. No, Richard was just quiet. Safety car will be in this lap. Probably. And Oliveira has decided to go out on hards in this soaking weather. I think it was like, my race is ruined, so I might as well go out on dries because it will eventually dry up. They should have at least gone for the softs, not for the hards. This is a very interesting strategy call. And the safety car's indeed in this lap. I don't know what Oliveira's plan is. Genuinely have no clue. Richie, do you have any idea? Am I just being stupid here, or? Because as to my understanding, he has gambled it, but it's still actively raining. This is very interesting. Let's just hop on board towards the front then, because that's where we have to focus our attention on for the moment. Kart Racer will be leading the safety car, weaving a lot there, preparing to go, and he's gone already very early. And has he surprised Nico with it slightly? Yeah, I would say he has. 8/10 difference, a very good safety car reset there from NLR Kart Racer. He has surprised Nico, and Daniel was very much so ready. Freddy wasn't. Already a 9/10 gap there, but let's look at Daniel. A bad exit there from Nico. Daniel will be able to use all of his ERS. Hopefully for him, he will be on lower wings, but he does have the slipstream. Will he be going up the inside there? No, he's just for the outside line. Daniel will be attempting to make the move here. Very late breaker for the both of them, but a lot of respect given. Enough space, and Daniel does make the move there. Goes past MNT, or aka Mentalism Nico, on an absolutely brilliant move. Oliveira clearly playing the long game. Yeah, it does seem like it, because there's just no grip out on track for us. I'll tune in with him later. Diogo Silva and Essie are meanwhile fighting. Meanwhile, actually up front there, Daniel and Slinky are side by side as well. Let's see if they can keep it side by side through this section. A lot more grip around the outside. It seems like the longer line and being able to go on the throttle a bit earlier, but Daniel able to really defend it nicely, and he keeps the position there. In the Alpine, he will be hopefully for him looking to make a few more positions up there. Fladdy, although he did have a poor safety car reset, does seem to have a lot of good pace there, although he did go wide there, probably ending up with a track limit violation there. Is he able to make a move anytime soon on Nico? The unfortunate thing with intermediate conditions is that really difficult to overtake. I always imagine that you could have DRS on shorter points, just a proper straight. For overtaking in the wet. Like, I know it would be dangerous, but it would create so many better overtaking opportunities in the wet, especially on the Formula 1 game itself, because IRL you could run alternative lines and still make up positions, but in this game there's just one perfect line, and that's the shortest one, or the most ideal wide in, wide out. Like, yeah, you know what I mean, just hitting the apex as best as possible, like the lines that are taken now, as wide as possible starting, hitting the apex on the inside and then going out wide again. That's just a strategy here. There's no real skill to it. In real life Formula 1, you would see drivers go up the inside here to cool their tyres down maybe a bit more. There's no realism in the wet compound, which really disappoints me and really kills wet racing for me, because there are not a lot of overtakes. I mean, we got a yellow flag there. That is TF Links. It's not even Oliveira who's still struggling. It's not like it's drying up now, like it's just fully soaked. I know Oliveira has, I think he's announced this, and otherwise I will be spoiling it for him. I know he has a kart race coming up, and I know in go-karts, they often drive in the wet on slicks, and it's very slippery. But you're not meant to do that in an F1 car, buddy. Would he retire now? Because I think it just is raced on for him. It's gonna continue. This is absolutely immaculate. Yeah, this is something I've never seen before. He's either in a party with Toxic Tomato and constantly updating him on when the hards get better, but it's still raining, so it doesn't really help him for now. Meanwhile, purple middle sector for Virtual Intensity Racing Daniel. You got Daniel and Danielle. Two very similar names to each other. You have to quickly check if my co-commentator is fully there again. No, is it? It's still not back up. Daniel there indeed going for the fastest lap. He does seem to have some really good pace, quicker than Nico at least, so it was good for him that he was able to pull that overtake off very early. But kart racing just seemingly has a lot of pace. Let's look at the ERS levels for the guys up front. 70% for kart racer, whilst Daniel only has 30%, so Daniel is pushing a lot more. Nico also on 30%, Fleddy on 50, Ruti Khaled on 16. So everyone's pushing a lot more, but Toxic Tomato and Kart Racer are really the only ones up front who are really chilling. And they just know what they have to do. They know, okay, I'm generally quick on track and it's hard to overtake. Unless other drivers attempt to make a move at me, I know I can defend this because I simply have more ERS. I'm not going to be flashing, and how will you get past me then in the rain? Good luck. That's pretty much all that they're saying. And we're not even halfway in the race, but it seems to be like more defense than attack currently from kart racer, which might be the way to go. Eamon was set to fast lap, and Daniel just with a few thousandths of a second going faster. Like these guys are so similar to each other, but kart racer is just really clean into turn one there, again gaining a bit of ground away from them. And he's very much so controlling this race. Go on board with Julian, because Julian is starting to get kind of close to Rodas. Also Rodas does make a bit of a mistake, but Julian running over the inside yellow curb, or Brett curb. And that definitely does not help him. Diogo Silva going up the inside of Asi, or Asi making a mistake on throttle, probably the latter. And Diogo Silva, the WR driver, is able to get past him. Diogo Silva can now make up that 2.2 second gap and focus on the guys up ahead. Someone else with it. That's the biggest gap you see everywhere, apart from Links and Lolovera, of course. Lolovera is about to get lapped. This is very interesting. Because he's clearly driving, because he's making mistakes. It's just... he's seeing some other stuff than we are. It's either extremely desynced and he is on his screen driving on a dry track, or he's just done some substance and he thinks he thinks he can win. I don't have any other logical explanation. There's just no grip, absolutely none. This is crazy. It does seem to have stopped raining actually. That is correct. Ah, Felix has joined. So that is good. Let me try to invite Felix, boys. I'm sorry that you will be having a black screen for a little bit maybe. My name is Felix _ Bang, let's add him to the party. Let's see if we can get the co-commentator in. Finally. Also, I think it's not going to be taking... oh, my right joystick is drifting everywhere, boys. I'm sorry. It does seem like it is drying up, so I don't think it's going to be taking a very long amount of time until we will be seeing some people into the pit lane. Which of course I think all drivers will be off towards the medium compound of tyre. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. Nico has really lost the momentum, already dropping back 3 seconds. He was able to hold it on very nicely in the beginning. He is struggling right now, and Fleddy is right on him. Felix, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I hope my internet holds on now. I'm very sorry, but I don't know why it had to happen today. I had
Yeah,
issues 2 weeks ago for the first race already with the internet, but that was just on my end related, but it looks like in the entire area it just cut off. So I hope it's back for good now and I don't lag out anymore.
yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna up your microphone volume a slight bit on my end. I don't know if that will help it on stream. Maybe you add up your volume a bit as
Yeah,
well,
I can put it up.
because it's a bit different from when you go com to when you stream. From my own experience, because my mic sounds a bit worse um, when I'm streaming, but it actually sounds very nice when I'm in a bike with someone else. Lolavera is actually in. I'll give you a quick summary on the race. Lolavera's finally retired. Lolavera has been doing about 6 laps already on the hard compound of tyre. Whilst it's fully raining, he got damage from the incident which Francesco caused. I mean, currently just waiting for it to dry up because it has stopped raining a lot. So I think it will be drying up shortly and we'll be off towards the medium tyre. But currently, Race and Daniel are fully controlling this race.
All right, that's a good summary because it's a bit like a cold start right now for me, but I'll just
Exactly.
try and get into it now. But it looks like we've got an interesting situation up on our hands.
Yeah, definitely.
With the top two being only separated by a tenth. Don't know how that gap, you know, went on for the past couple of laps. If that stayed stable or if that was a change or anything.
Second, yeah. For a long time, it was around the second mark. They've been stealing fastest laps from each other, but Daniel does have a little bit less ERS compared to Kart Racer, so Kart Racer definitely does have the pace advantage from what I can look at. What I do know is that QRT Fleddy is really starting to push on the back of Nico. He wants to make a move, Nico there, making a slight mistake, but Fleddy just unable to really profit from it in this difficult and tough Sector 2 section of the track, and he just has to wait. But I think Nico's running less downforce than him, and Fleddy's just stuck behind Nico. And I really wonder what Fleddy's pace will be like once he gets freed behind Nico.
Yeah, it turns out Freddy's on a good race here tonight. I mean, he hasn't had the best of finishes so far this season, with one no scorer and only 6 points added to his tally in the first 3 rounds. But also a kart racer with a pretty good weekend. Wouldn't have expected to see him there, even though I joined late. But it looks like Austria might be a track he prefers.
Yeah, Kart Racer is also always a guy who really has some great pace, but he just tends to make mistakes often and just screw up quickly. Also, I got a DM from Lola Vera. I'll actually read it out loud. Just made the worst decision ever, lol. Just so you understand why I ran on hard. My engineer told me it's drying up very shortly. Once I saw me losing 10 seconds a lap, I was like, let's give the race some emotion. So, yeah, I gotta be honest, it was a very, very poor strategy from him. But at least he tried. But it does seem like, from his message, that it will stop raining very urgently. But when? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, a gamble might, pay off and then you get the big win, but in many situations it's just the case that you throw your entire race away. Obviously, I don't know where Lolavera was before he pitted.
But he wasn't P12, but he pitted on the final lap before the safety car went in, and it was still very much raining at the time. So I understand the call if they said it would stop raining any minute, but still a very big risk that he took. But as you can see on the straights, Nico's just pulling away from Fleddy. Like, Fleddy's not gaining at all, whilst Fleddy does have the slipstream. So Fleddy just can't really do anything right now. Makes a small mistakes, which give Ruti Galliter an opportunity to maybe look, but still, 410s, you just can't make a move in the wet.
Yeah, it's not always easy. I mean, Austria might be a track where it's a bit easier and a bit nicer to overtake without taking too many risks in the rain, but still, if you're running a lower downforce setup, then the car ahead or behind, you're going to have a really difficult time. Even though you're in the slipstream, you might have a little bit of more battery charge, which is actually not the case with Fleddy right now against Nico, who's on around 40%. So it feels like Nico is in a pretty comfortable position right now to hold on to that third place, at least for the next couple of laps. But as soon as the rain might stop and the DRS gets enabled, he might come under a bit of more pressure.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. And what I said earlier, I don't know if you heard, I'm not a fan of the rain conditions in this game at all. Because there's just no realism to it. Because in real life, you can run those different lines to gain, to lose the dirty air, and to just cool your tires off more so you can put more pressure on it later. There's just none of that realism. Like, technically, we would need DRS on straights like these. Like, maybe shorter DRS zones, but that would immensely make overtaking opportunities bigger. And although it would be dangerous, it's for the Formula 1 game, it seems like the perfect solution.
Yeah, well, the F1 games always pretend to be a simulation, but we very often see that it's definitely not. I mean, also like the changing conditions on this game, it's basically a one-lap situation where the tires are around the same pace, but that's just a phase of maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and then it immediately snaps around, and suddenly the dries are quicker or the wets are quicker, and there's no such thing as a drying racing line. But it looks like Freddy has gotten closer on this lap, and he might be able to make a move, maybe a risky move down the inside of turn 3.
Ooh, it does look like he will be going and heading towards the move now, but he's just not gaining. He's losing on the straight. He's so close near him, and he's just unable to make any gains up the field. He just needs to make a massive send or just really put him under pressure in Sector 2, but he's been attempting to do so. I mean, it's not working so far. You could see that Nico is burning a little bit of ERS, and it's just not anymore. Fleddy is just not gaining at all.
I think he's basically just waiting for the track to dry up, but it looks like it has taken ages so far, and it doesn't look like it's really drying that much either. I don't know if the air temperature might be, a bit lower around here, but the track is definitely not drying up quick enough for Fleddy at the moment, because in the dry he would have easily passed him many laps ago already.
Yeah, definitely. Someone else who's on my radar who hasn't really been performing to the level I would expect him to perform is Slash. Slash did very nicely in France, and he was looking quick in qualifying, but unfortunately he did bottle 2 of his latest qualifying laps, causing to a bit further back, and he just doesn't seem to be able to make these moves in the rain, just like many others. So I don't think we can really see a true pace representative for any of these drivers around here. It's a very nice track to practice and to perform at. It was always one of my favorites when I used to drive on the game, but you can't really do a lot on it, and it's just disappointing currently. But Slash, he would have loved to score some more points this weekend, I think.
Yeah, it looks like he's a bit struggling, especially in comparison to his championship rivals, or his championship rival Nico, and yeah, it isn't looking all too good. I mean, Danielle is not performing all too well in this rainy race here so far either. I mean, he's all the way down in P14 as the championship leader. That's never a good sign, and it looks like it's going to be 0 points for him tonight. As I say that, he climbs up to P13.
Seems like Slinky had a big moment coming out of the S section, not the S section, Sector 2, I'm sorry. And he just nearly lost the rear end of the car. He has saved it. I would like to point our attention to a statement from PSGL, which has just come out. It says that PSGL was incredibly disappointed to hear about Luke Smith's scheming that would ultimately bring the league into disrepute. He's subsequently banned from taking part in PCF1 on Wednesday, with a screenshot added saying, "Yo Jake, I had a plan to expose Thomas. Basically we all just retire lap 1 in PSGL Bahrain, so that only Thomas and the RAG guys are left. You want to do it?" Question mark.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that PSGL has put his statements, and I don't know why there is a safety car, if I'm honest. Has
Ashley has retired, but I
yeah,
don't know where.
yeah. I just as we read the statement and wanted to say something, immediately something happens,
Drivers
and
are
obviously
pitting.
everyone.
Are they going to pit
is-
for tries?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but you know, there was a gamble for an early decision going on to dries. There might be a gamble staying out on Inters, but it doesn't look like anyone is staying out. Interesting.
They're going to
I
dries.
thought, yeah, I thought maybe Slinky or someone will maybe stay out, or Daniel especially. I mean, he's had nothing to lose. He was outside the points, and maybe just, you know, stay out, try and hold track position, because the track didn't really dry up all too much.
It will be absolutely
Oh, and Rodas
hilarious.
pitted back onto
Rodas,
Inters.
yes. It would be so hilarious if the track is still wet. It just doesn't dry.
Yeah, because if you look at the track, it still looks wet, and there's still
Yes.
spray coming off the tires. That
still
might
raining.
have been a really good decision.
Yeah.
It obviously it
Where's Rodas
depends
in the-
now
in the
on how long
standings?
this Rodas is. I got it up on the screen here. He's in 5th in the standings. He's won the 2nd round at Singapore.
That would be a massive jump for him. If he's able to pull off the strategy to perfection, very much props to him, but does it stop raining?
I mean, it has
there's a
stopped.
bit of spray.
Yeah, there's still spray, and we saw that there was basically no track evolution those past couple of laps, and Rodas will hope that the safety car comes in as soon as possible, but he has the problem of Lynx being way back in last place, 30 seconds behind the next car,
Yeah.
which
But
has
he
obviously
will
cost him.
catch up before
And
lap
he will pit.
24.
So it might have been a mistake from him. That makes it
Ooh,
even
Rodas-
worse. Yeah, I think he might have just messed it up a little bit with the tyre switch, but
Could he go softs? Can you last that? I think you can just about if you get lucky, but
yeah, I mean, with all those sliding around that is going to
No.
happen in the next couple of laps after the safety car, it might be difficult. But
I have a statistic
everyone's on
for it.
mediums now. But you know what? If I would have been in Roda's situation, well, okay, look at the track. Look at the track. It's dried up now
Yeah.
completely, and I don't know what just happened. There was a span of like 20 seconds, and the track is completely dry.
Yeah, I find it so incredible. This game could be so unrealistic, so bad. What I have written down is that softs can last 10 laps. So, in theory, 1 or 2 laps more, how much would it hurt? It could be a gamble. It's worth it.
You know, like you said, it could be a gamble, but I think that's a gamble you can only take while you're more towards the front. Because for Daniel, it might would have paid out, because if he would have got past Kart Racer very early on, he might have been able to pull the gap to then have enough room in between him and Kart Racer once again, you know, to not lose too much time and to drop back to second once the tyres were out. But
Disagree
know-
on you there. I think it works for everyone, really, apart from the top guys. Because the top guys just want to maintain their positions, obviously. But as a midfield guy, like, if you would have immediately gone for soft, it would have maybe been a bit extreme. But if Lynx just now pits for the soft compound, it could definitely work. And he could maybe get himself into the points, because he definitely has a massive tyre advantage compared to everyone else.
don't you think the tyres will wear out too quickly with all that aggressive driving while you have to overtake people and everything?
It's possible, but I don't know.
I mean, I get your
Extreme
point,
guys,
because you haven't got that much to lose as long as you're further towards the back. But, you know, I understand Daniel as well. I mean, he's 6th in the championship. It's still a very solid position. He's not that far off the top, and he doesn't want to lose too much in the championship. Especially because at the moment he's gaining on everyone in that top group who's ahead of him in the championship.
That is very much so. Safety car will be probably in this lap. There's still some raindrops on my screen, but it was fully dry.
Oh, I can see it too. I can see it too.
There's no way that it just fully dried up and that it's gonna rain again. You cannot tell me that's going to happen because I simply can't believe you. But
Yeah, I see that it looks like the drops are getting a bit more frequent now as well. But
I think
if you
it's
look at
starting
the
to rain
car,
again.
but if you look at the car, you can't see like the raindrops on the car. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. Might just be F1.
Yeah, let's hope it's not. Got a racer really weaving again like he did on the first safety car reset. Last time he went already here, surprising Daniel, putting him on 8 tenths. Will he be able to do so again? No, this time he waits a bit longer. But he does go for it now. He doesn't surprise Daniel as much as he did the first time, but there's still that 6-10 gap that Daniel's able to afford to kart race, and immediately loses out on it. Tries are now there. In 3 laps time we will have DRS, so we will get a lot of overtakes. Ruti Gullit cannot wait though for that DRS. He's immediately looking very close up the back of Provotox. Will he be making that move? No, he will not. Provotox has to go defensive. Maybe around the outside. Ruti Gullit looks for it, but he's unable to make that move stick. And then we see Toxic Meter behind there. Maybe also eyeing up that move to profit from the overtaking attempts from Ruti, but he does not go for it. And then we've had a very boring safety car restart.
Yeah, it was a smart decision by Ruti to take the outside line coming into turn 3, because he kind of forced Provatogs towards the inside and to make like a half-hearted move on Fleddy there. That cost Fleddy a little bit. He's around 6 tenths behind Nico now as Ruti actually picks up a penalty. But that was really smart and could have worked out, as the Lynx seems to have spun out of turn 8, I think. Yeah. And now Ruti maybe with the chance into turn 1, but he's going to stay behind for a bit longer than that and might go for a move into turn 3 now.
Yeah, let's see. He's definitely burning ERS now that he does have the time penalty. He just needs to be making up as many positions as possible and make the gap behind him bigger and bigger and bigger. And he can't do that when he's stuck behind another car. Goes up the inside of turn 3 on Provotox, and he makes that move stick. And he now is eyeing up his next target. Can Provotox not lose 2 positions there? Because Toxic Meter is looking up the inside. The Mercedes driver who was complaining that he did not have a teammate. Again, tries to go for the move there. Fails. Goes up the inside there in turn 5. Tries to stick it up the inside there. Still side by side, Provotox and Toxic Tomato. Really good respect between the drivers there, but Toxic Tomato is able to make that move stick and go for it. Toxic Tomato, a veteran in the league racing scene, makes his way all the way up to P6.
Yeah, great move there from him. I mean, that was a lot of dedication he put in there, as Nico picks up a penalty, which could be crucial in the end, because at the moment Fleddy then would take the final spot on the podium. But once again, great move from Toxic Tomato. A lot of commitment going down the inside through the double left-hander, but also fair play to Provatox, who gave him the room, as many drivers would have just closed in on him and just closed the line. And that was a clean battle, but with the unfortunate outcome for Provatox, as he drops from P5 all the way down to P7.
Yeah, that is unfortunately the unfortunate ending. Was finally, after 28 laps, we do have DRS. So we do have overtaking opportunities right here. Daniel does seem to have a lot more confidence on this dry competitive tyre compared to kart racers. And it seems like he's wanted to make a move very quickly. Nico was disappointed in the Discord that it was going to rain for a long time, and now it finally dries up, and he does then pick up that time penalty. So that really does screw over things for him. Took Tomato nearly out of the DRS of Ruti Gullit up ahead. Ruti Gullit is probably going to be looking for another overtaking opportunity. Ruti Gullit got a pen last lap and then had the fastest lap. Nico got a penalty and then got the fast lap on this one, whilst Ruti Gullit then beat it.
Yeah, it would be crucial right now for Nico to break out of that 1 second window to Fleddy behind, but he just couldn't do so. Only just Fleddy stayed within that 1 second window, otherwise he would have broken that DRS train that is very prominent right now, as Provatox is the first one inside the top 10 to not be within that 1 second window to the car ahead. So it's probably going to be a typical Austria DRS train all the way down to P6 at the moment, but if Provatox can stay in there, it might even go all the way down to P15.
Yeah, definitely. It does seem like this top three is somewhat running away with it because Fleddy is leaving a small gap, 7 to 8 tenths constantly, not really attacking. It could be that he is defending, but he's got such low percentage of ERS. Moslinks has spun again. He only has 7 or 8% of ERS, whilst the other guys ahead. Especially
there's a spin. That's Daniel.
Oh, the championship lead has gone round there in the Alpine. Daniel losing. He wasn't really in a big scoring position anyways, but that
and look at Daniel in second place. He's going for a move on Car Racer now. On lap 30, we might see a switch of the race leader, and it looks like it's going to be Daniel coming out on top. And it looks like in the background there was Nico who spun around, and at the same time Daniel takes the lead.
Wow, a lot of stuff happening there at the same time. I just got aboard that Nico's round again. He has fully spun going into the gravel trap there in turn number 6. And unfortunately, that is the end of a good point scoring position and result for Nico. Let's hope he does not immediately retire into the pit lane. But Daniel there finally retaking that first position. He did not have the pace momentum in the wets, but he does have a huge lap of oversteer there. And Fleddy picks up a penalty as well in P3. That is not ideal for him. Ruti Khaled then goes past him. The flying Finn is really flying all the way up to P3 now, and he just has his teammate up ahead of him. So really pressure his teammate now to try and get him in the lead, and then hopefully be able to tow Kart Racer also into the lead as well. Kart Racer is looking at it. Kart Racer has 90% of ERS still. He definitely just let Daniel go. He was like, I got the ERS advantage, mate. You show your pace to me, and then I respond later. Well, Slash, meanwhile, goes past Provotox.
Yeah, the lap 30 definitely the most exciting of them all, as Nico is getting overtaken by Danielle. Two championship contenders, P1 and P2, in the championship fighting for P14. 5 laps before the end. That is not the race they would have hoped for, and it looks like Danielle comes out as the loser out of that fight. Ruti seems to be incredibly quick at the moment. He's once again set a new fastest lap time, and there goes Kart Racer once again, and it looks like he's about to regain that lead.
No, he sticks up behind. He forces Daniel to burn a little bit of the ERS, and now he dives up the inside. Just really fighting, and maybe giving Ruti Khaled the opportunity to profit from it, but he gets a really poor exit, which gives Fleddy then the opportunity to come back at him. Fleddy burning his ERS, but he still hasn't got any ERS. Fleddy needs to work on his ERS management. Meanwhile, Slash and Provotox are still going at it. Slash diving up the inside. Provotox turns in there and he has to bail out of there. Slash, good work to not get involved up in the accident there. Provotox maybe need to watch a little bit out for that. We really admire racing here. We've had some good side-by-side moments, but that nearly went not well.
And Sabi went off completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing a Valtteri Bottas from, I don't know what it was, 2020? When he was mowing the lawn? Yeah. That reminded me of that. I think it was 2020. Wasn't that the first race after the COVID pandemic? Yeah. I know. But it looks like Daniel's really struggling through turn 1, and that gives Ruti Khaled the chance now to maybe try and go for a move at the end of that second DRS straight, because he is really close to the back of the AlphaTauri. He hasn't got that much ERS to fight with though, and it looks like Daniel is able to just hold on for now, but he's going to be too far away to regain that lead.
Yeah, they're just waiting for it for now, it seems like. Kart Racer certainly has no priority on driving away. It will be interesting for me to see if Kart Racer will absolutely put the burners on in lap 34 or 35 to attempt to get Daniel outside of that second gap, and then get Ruti Khaled to split in between them, because Ruti does have the penalty, so he doesn't really have to drive towards Kart Racer, and he could just secure that first place for Kart Racer. But you firstly have to find an opportunity for Ruti Khaled to get past.
It's all but not decided, this race. And I want to see if Daniel now nails turn 1, but no, once again he loses a 10th. It seems like he just hasn't found his line in the drive through turn 1. Nico picks up another penalty. Wouldn't matter because he's in P15 anyways. And it depends now, can Daniel or Kart Racer gain the maximum amount of points on the two championship leaders? Yeah, he's gaining, he's looking for the outside, but he can't quite get it. Kart Racer break very late there, but still making the corner quite well.
I think Daniel's looking to burn off a bit of ERS from Kart Racer because he's not seen him flashing yet. Daniel knows that he's got a healthy amount of ERS, but I do not know if he has got an engineer watching the stream or anything. But I think he's just trying to make sure that they are on an even playing field. Or that he is thinking that he can burn off Kart Racer, so he will be derating. Nico spins and Daniel spins as well in P2 there. He fully loses the rear of the car there and spins, picks up a penalty as well. But that is very unfortunate for the man in P2, and he goes round, and there goes his chances on a victory. It's wow.
What is going on in these final laps here? I mean, we've seen many mistakes now since the track has completely dried up. Maybe the drivers think they've got a bit more grip than they actually do, as Marcel tries to go past Provertox as well, and he manages to do so but loses the rear end as well. It looks like grip might just not be there at all at the moment for those drivers, as Toxic Tomato just went past Fleddy down the inside into turn 4. He's got the move done. He would have been ahead of him anyway with that 3-second time penalty that Freddy has got, but now he has it within his own hands to stay within those 3 seconds of Ruti.
It's a really big train there, going all the way from P5 down towards P12, and they're all within 2/10 or 3/10 of each other, and they all want to make their moves work. Whilst Nico does get lapped here, I wouldn't surprise me if he does retire into the pit lane after this. I don't expect any bells up front, really, because it seems to be all sorted. Kart Racer there, fully in the lead with his teammate who has a penalty behind him. Toxic Tomato there, having to run away from Freddy, who has a penalty as well. And then you got Marcel Grizzly leading that train. So I think we'll mainly watch that train to see if any battles will happen. Behind there, we do see Slinky going for a move on Daniel already. That is move 1. Provertox going up the inside of Marcel Grizzly. That is 2 moves already done. Can Julian profit from it? Let's go on board with Julian. He does have the ERS to burn. Is it going to be 3 wide here? Julian definitely wants to make 2 overtakes here at once. He fully goes up the inside. Who can break the layers and who can still stay on track? Everyone does there. And it seems like Marcel Grizzly has broke the layers. Julian there trying to go around the outside in the middle. But off the track, still keeping it side by side. Julian going all the way around the outside on Provertox. That is an absolutely supreme move there. He makes it stick, he makes it work. Slinky wanting to profit from it as well. He has the ERS to burn on Provertox, going side by side now through the final corners. Kart Racer wins the race. I'm sticking on board with this. I'm really sorry, but this is an absolutely incredible battle. Provertox is able to defend, going towards the line. Wow, if they didn't have a penalty, this would have been very close. But Slash, I think, just beat Daniel there on the line. But Kart Racer there is victorious in Austria after a very, very wet race.
Wow, what an eventful final lap. Since it dried up, since that safety car came in, everything was just going down to the wire. We saw many mistakes from drivers well up the championship order. Daniel with an awful weekend for himself, and same with Nico, who looked to be fighting for that race win until he got that penalty, and then afterwards had that spin. Also Slash a bit further down, still he was inside the top 10, so for a championship contender he actually collected some decent points. And yeah, that was wow, everything was going on at the same time basically.
Yeah, but it was a race that really lit and blew up once the race became dry. Of course, the wet qualifying did make it interesting, but it was a very fun race. But at the end, we see the German NLR driver never lost racing. Well, he's definitely not lost this one. He is on the top step of the podium in first place, winning there. I think it's his first win of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But
It
he
is.
does it. He's able to spray the champagne there. Toxic Tomato finishing in second. He's been in the scene, from what I know, for absolutely ages, Toxic Tomato. And his teammate, the other Alfa Romeo, finishing in P3 there, Ruti Khalid, the Finnish man who seemed to have maybe even the best pace today, only finishing in third because of his grip penalty with the fastest lap. So let's quickly run you through the order. We have Car Racer in first, like we saw on the podium. Toxic Tomato in second, with Ruti Khalid in third. You got Fleddy with a 3-second time penalty, dropping only to P4. Marcel Grizzly in P5. Julian, Provotox, Slinky, Slash, and Diogo Silva round out the top 10. It was a big train there with a lot of fighting going on. Rodas finishing in P11. VIR Daniel, who was fighting for a long time to get a good spot on the podium and maybe even the win. He unfortunately spun. He did not get any points. Our championship leader, ADT Daniel, also not getting good points, ending up in P13. Then we have Enelar Sabi and TF Links, who have been mainly driving backwards this race. Nico, who spun from P3 as well. And then we got the DNS, which are Essie, Lolo Vera, and JR Francesco.
Yeah, also, just a quick note, that Kart Racer is now the only driver on the entire grid in race 4 already to have scored a point in every single race this season. He got 6 points in Spain, 2 points in Singapore, 6 points in France, and now the race win in Austria. The only other driver to score points in every race they've raced in is Ruti Khalid and Toxic Tomato, who have both not started in Singapore. Everyone else has not scored, had a race where they didn't score a single point this season after 4 races.
I don't know if you should be impressed by Kart Racer's performance or disappointed on the other guys.
Well, I think Kart Racer just kept his head cool when everyone around him fumbled, basically. I mean, you saw that there were many drivers that had pretty good pace, especially in the dry conditions, but they just couldn't stay on the track, it looked like. And in the end, he managed to do so, and that's what got him the race win. Without a single penalty, without a spin, and he just kept it clean.
It was indeed a very, very clean race. But that will be the end of the Formula 4 PlayStation race today at Austria. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a very interesting race with a very entertaining ending. My name is Simon, and my co-commentator's name is Felix. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I hopefully, at least Felix will hopefully see you guys next week. I've got no clue where I'm going to be because I'm a reserve commentator. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the other PSGL tiers that are running. For example, take a look at PlayStation PSGL F1, which is currently running. And I wish you guys all a happy and a good night.